So the Oilers won in overtime. Okay. It's been a long night. I wanted to expand on the last video I made about playing guitar and about moving away from bar chords. And one thing that you can do, there are so many starting points when you're playing in any key, right, across the fretboard. But let's look at one, okay? And I call this the C, the major C shape starting position, right? And I was saying before in the previous video that you can play the full 5 strings for that major C shape, but you don't have to. Just play the 4. So let's say we're playing in the key of E. We can move that down to the major C shape version of E on 4 strings, right? But assuming we're playing in that key, let's go through all of the diatonic chords for that key, except for the 7th chord, right, which is a diminished chord. We'll ignore that, but you know what? Maybe we'll play that as a flattened 7 chord. So anyway, you have your C major shape. Now this all comes from your cowboy chords, so if you learn your cowboy chords, this is easy. And I'm going to be playing these in somewhat simple ways, right? But anyway, we have our C shape, major, D minor shape, E minor shape, F major shape, G major shape. Now this is an interesting one because it may seem off, but the fact is that when you're downplaying your cowboy chords with your G major, the fact is that you have an open 2, 3, and 4 string, right? And so that's how we're playing this, right? And then an A minor shape. Now I said we would skip the 7th chord, but let's make it a flattened 7, and that would be a B major shape. So you can see how that flattened 7 works out. So let's play that all the way through again. So it's major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, flat 7 major, and then back to your beginning. Now, what I had said before is that constantly sliding with your bar chords is a problem, but that sliding isn't always an issue. And so here I'm going to play something that I've been working on, and you'll see the same chords that I've just been playing, but sometimes I'm sliding, and that's to create some tension or some excitement in what I'm doing, right? So this is what I'm working on right now. Now, we don't have to understand everything that happened there, but the fact is this. I had this D minor shape that I was playing. And I could have gone back to the E minor shape up here. But it's more exciting to go up the neck. It's creating that attention. And the other thing about it is that it makes it easy to play that dominant 7 version of that. That's definitely something that has to be resolved, right? And I resolve it back to the 4. And in this case, that's the A major, right? But the other thing is, once I'm hitting the A major, instead of going like this, I'm sliding. Because it adds more drama to it. But it also makes it easier the second time around. Once again, I'm going to play a dominant 7, right? And then we end on the E major. We don't have to, you know, this song could be either in the major or the minor key, right? The relative minor, doesn't matter. But anyway, this is the thing. So my advice is take those cowboy chords that you have, look at the different ways that you're playing them, move them further up the neck. Find the times when you want to slide up and down the neck versus the times where you want to stay in that, 2 fret kind of area. But the other thing is, you have to learn how to play in every single key. Now, I've showed how to play in a key when you're starting in the major C shape. But you can play in a key when you start in the major, like, A shape as well, right? So there's all these different things that you have to learn. This is what I'm working on right now. And my point about all this is that I don't see a lot of videos on YouTube talking about this. This is singer-songwriter stuff. This is arrangement type of stuff. I see a lot of stuff about how to do all these scales and how to do solos and all this other stuff. And that stuff is very complicated and very difficult, but it is 5 to 10% of songwriting. The songwriting is more about the arrangement, and so you have to know how to play in different keys all along the fretboard, right? Using a different starting point, because that's what adds that flavor into everything that you're doing, And so I love the Ramones, but the Ramones focused on the cowboy chords down here, and then major and minor bar chords everywhere else with a lot of sliding, and they were effective at it. But for most singer-songwriters, you have to know how to play with different starting positions, major and minor, different chord shapes, and then transition to all the different chords that work in that key. And then, when things get really complicated after that, is that you move away from the diatonic chords. The diatonic chords are those chords that fit into the key that you're playing. And so the great songwriters move far beyond that and have so many chords that are not in that key, but also it sounds good and it sounds right and you enjoy it, and that's what adds that depth. That's the depth, right? So this is, I don't know why I'm trying to get a guitar lesson. This isn't really a guitar lesson. This is a mixture of singer-songwriter songwriting and mixing the guitar in there. And I do not see a lot of this. I see a lot of advertisements about, hey, you can master guitar. I'm going to teach you 5 things. It could take you 1 day. Guitar takes several years to master. Even the very, very great guitarists, it took them 4 years of heavy, heavy practice every day in the way that worked for them. That's the thing, right? So when I'm providing this information, you have to take it and then apply it in a way that works for you. That's the thing about this instrument. The people that succeed at guitar are the people that go back day after day after day, spending 1 to 2 hours taking little pieces of information that they've either heard or learned and moving on with that. It's not like classical music, which is a very, very different, different discipline, you know. So anyway, I hope this is helpful for some people. The reason I do these videos is that I'm new to this instrument, but I do have enough knowledge of music that I can apply it. But I want, I find there's a lot of people on YouTube that are so advanced, in some ways they forget to explain some of those things from your early days of playing guitar that could be helpful. So if this is helpful to anyone, I think that's great. And if not, well, I had fun. I had fun. Have a good night.